If you live alone, you're in emotional isolation and you eat these kind of snacks, my favorite Indian ones with the nice packaging, branding, want to get some dopamine hits, want to quiet the amygdala down, well, we're going to talk about this in 3 different parts, where in the first part we talked about mind hygiene. You can see that first video, and then we understood what's going on here, and we're trying to be nice to ourselves during this whole process. And then mind conditioning, where we have aces our life with mind hygiene and not faces our life. And now we're going to talk about how to train your mind to stay like this in neurospiritual sovereignty. When I talk about neurospiritual sovereignty, let's try to understand. What we're trying to do is we're trying to quiet the cortisol, increase the oxytocin bond with ourselves, delay dopamine, epinephrine, norepinephrine hits. I want those to go down a little bit, and I want to create that steady level of serotonin where I validate myself. Let's take an example. I was addicted to sugar for about 3 years, but solid though. I mean, I always liked sweets, but I never really would go like ham on it. I wouldn't really go buck wild and like eat a bunch of sugar like I did for 3 years. Full on addicted to it. And when I trained my mind to not fix it, overcome it, and deal with it, that's not faces your life with mind hygiene, but aces your life with mind hygiene. Accept your awareness, communicate your compassion, embrace your empathy, and soften the process. Over the years, I was able to manifest it enough where I trained my mind, increase protein, no sugar, and low carb. For many years, I did not think that this was possible, but I wrote it anyway. I wrote it first on a dry erase board where I would engage with my health parameters like spiritual health, mind health, time health, executional health, sacrificial health, core values health, etc. And what I wrote there in the physical health part was this. Interestingly, there was a patient that I talked to about this who said that I eat a high protein diet, I don't eat sugar, and I eat low carbs. You probably would have had a better chance. But like I said, for about 3 years, I wrote this 4 times a week. But no thinking about it, no talking to anybody, I wrote it down. I just did not think it was possible. I would stop eating sugar for maybe like a day here and there. I think that there was a period of time where I didn't eat for maybe 2 or 3 weeks perhaps. I don't remember. All I know is that I was ready to go back to it each and every single time. But when I quit eating sugar and stopped eating white bread and started eating high protein December 24th of 2024, we're talking now we're in September. It's almost been 9.5 months since I quit eating sugar. And for 4 months of it, let's call this neurochemical consecration, where the cortisol is decreased, the dopamine is delayed, and I've consecrated. My mission, vision, purpose is to feed the poor, purify their water. I don't think I'm going to be able to do that if I'm down in a bunch of sugar and not eating enough protein and eating bad carbs. When I did do that, and that neurochemical consecration was me validating myself. I internally validated myself by doing it. Now, over the years, I've tried many different things to help, many different diet plans, medications, all kinds of stuff. Nothing helped me more than consecrating to my higher purpose. I live alone. I'm single right now. I've been alone for most of my life. I've lived in monastic solitude for many years. I gotta figure out a way to depend on myself. But when I quit this, I didn't think I could do it. And in 24 hours, I'm sitting here in the vision room and I'm like, dang, I sure am emotionally dependent on sugar. That's what I did not like about it. Fine, I was bloated, I was overweight, I've been overweight most of my life. I've only been in good shape for maybe like 5-6 years total. And now over like the last 10 months, I mean, and I'm like, I gotta work through this in real time and let me just do a video on it. In the first 24 hours after I quit, I was so emotionally dependent on sugar. The next thing that happened was I wanted to keep it to myself. I did this for myself. I didn't share it on social media. I didn't do a YouTube video about it, nothing. And then after maybe like a week, I knew that I would never eat sugar again. I'm so scared of sugar, I don't even want it as a last meal. I am that terrified of like cheesecake. I mean, I was full on addicted though. I mean, I'm ordering like cheesecake on Fridays before I go home, gummy bears, sugar babies, licorice, just anything you could think of, all kinds of sugar, kind of like the packets that I have here. And I can see myself getting into that pattern. I did not tell anybody for 4 months. Finally, I was like, maybe this isn't a good idea to hold back anymore. I think it'll be good to inspire patients with it. And that's what I did. And then after that, I realized that if I can do this by myself, and sugar was probably in the top 5 things that I've ever done in my life is to quit sugar. And now, nothing. I will eat like a Built protein bar, which I think maybe have a few grams of sugar. Sometimes I drink those poppy drinks, which I think has 5 grams of sugar, but I'm not emotionally dependent on it. That's what I'm saying. No more of this stuff. No gummy bears, none of that stuff, because I'm so emotionally dependent on it. And that's what I would suggest that you figure out a way to train your mind to do. I bet if I would have written this, I am the person that eats high protein, does not eat sugar, that eats low carbs, because I don't fix my emotions, I probably would have stood a better chance of getting there sooner than 3 years. But what the training of the mind did for me is that I wish I would have done this. I wish I would have had this image of me sitting down one day and saying that, look, what is it going to feel like for me to give up sugar? I wish I would have just written that down. And then when I got to that day, I wouldn't have been confused because I had manifested it. But for you right now, what you can do is you can train the mind is, number one, let's train the mind to be nice. When you're doing something like this, you don't have to do exactly what I'm doing. Even if you inspire from this 1%, it would be writing, but incessant. There's no time off of writing. You can't take any time off. There is a link in the description to a Mind Hygiene PDF. The thing about the Mind Hygiene Guide, it doesn't matter if you use that. You don't need my process to be sovereign. You don't need my process to consecrate. You don't need my process to feel better about yourself. You can utilize it in the beginning and inspire from it, but any writing technique will help you. Number one thing is to be nice to yourself. Take an action step that you don't want all the time when nobody's watching you. The number two thing is maybe what I would suggest is that if you're going to eat something that you don't want to, that's not within your value set, do not watch, make it a non-negotiable. A non-negotiable is don't watch TV or a cell phone when you're eating, and don't get full, and schedule it in. And I would do this every single time. You're accepting your awareness. You're like, I'm going to eat this anyway. You're communicating your compassion. I'm going to write it down. You're embracing your empathy. I understand that I'm not going to get full, and I'm going to schedule this in. I won't watch eating TV and cell phone, and gosh darn it, I'll just enjoy what it is. And then I'll write down, I am the person that does not eat bad food because I do something like this. And the more you do it, the better you get at it. Let me show you the vision room really quick and how I work through different things. And I showed you guys in the first video on some of the things that I write here on the board. And here is my Havanese Yorkie Suarna. There is a board that I wrote something on where I was doing a post. And here I just wrote a little rap song. I am about to bless the lives of millions, consecrated suffering, aim to donate billions. And then here I wrote down a reality. My reality here is that the interesting part of this reality is that I am a board certified doctor and I am a philanthropic speaker. And through God's guidance, I'll fulfill both of these. Loyalty to feeding the poor and purifying their water. And there's some loneliness involved with this too. Dopamine delay on the big paid speaking gigs. The speaking engagements will launch when it's God's timing. I will not force it. Put in the work, the discipline, and consecrate. I write all the time, whether it's on a dry erase board or on a flip chart or on a piece of paper. When it comes to artificial intelligence, what I will do with AI, I feel like I'm such an uncle when I say that, AI. When I use AI, first I'll write it down to see if I believe that about myself. And then what I'll do is transfer it to Google Doc. Maybe I'll use Grammarly to clean that up, but I won't have AI write it yet. And then what I'll do, or I won't talk to AI about anything I'm feeling emotionally. Then what I'll do is I'll put it into AI, and then I'll look at it and then write a couple of sentences to see if I believe that about myself. And then I'll just keep on going. Then it could be nonstop. And then I'll develop like different patterns. And if I have the implicit pattern in my mind that it's okay to communicate with AI because I believe that about myself, I'll keep going. But for the most part, I'm always writing, conditioning my mind and training my mind to be nice to myself. If you found value in this video, please share it, subscribe, hit the like button, drop a comment. I hope you enjoyed this 3-part series of how I'm working through my Indian snacks through mind hygiene, mind conditioning, and mind training. Namaste.